Good afternoon, everyone. This is Reiki with Radiance. I am a Reiki master and spiritual coach empowering empaths and highly sensitive women with an X tapping into their gifts. Women with an X to represent non-binary women as well. I am coming to you today to talk about the 5 reasons why you need to stop listening to your inner voice in order for you to build self-trust with your intuition. And I'm also talking to you today about the AAA Supercharged Empath program that I will be launching again October 10th. And of course, you guys should know me by now. I definitely follow my angelic numbers. I have been seeing 1010 everywhere. I've been seeing 24. I've been seeing all kinds of numbers. But 1010 is a big number for me because it represents spiritual growth and spiritual awakening, which is where I'm at right now, especially because I have become a Reiki master. Yeah. So let's get into it today. I just want to give some people time to show up for the live because I see that the numbers are growing on my end. So today I'll be talking about why you need to stop listening to your inner voice. And your inner voice often is misunderstood as your conscience. It's misunderstood as your intuition. It's misunderstood as your truest and highest self. And that's just not what it is. It's actually just designed to keep you stuck. It's designed to keep you in your primitive state. It's designed to keep you in survival mode. And as an empath, I want you to be in thriving mode. I want you to be able to activate your empath gifts. I want you to be able to cultivate your empath gifts in a way where you are creating the new earth. You're creating a better place for people because you know how to help people. You are the natural helpers and givers of the world. And you need to use your empath gifts to, once again, cultivate the new earth because we are experiencing this huge shift in perspective. We're experiencing this huge change in society all at once as a collective. And it's really time for you to really live in your highest and truest self as an empath, as a highly sensitive woman with an X tapping into their gifts. So let's get started. So first, why you need to stop listening to your inner voice? Because it is not you. Your inner voice is actually your mind, your brain, your mental voice that is literally taking on both sides of the conversation. Ever notice that when you talk, you'll create a question and you'll create an answer and then you create another question because of the answer. You'll literally go in circles with your inner voice. You will literally start going around, back and forth, back and forth. Your inner voice will literally change perspectives constantly. And it's designed to do that because, once again, it is your primitive voice, primitive mind. It is your inner voice, and it's a vocal mechanism that makes you think that there is someone else there. It makes you think that there's another form of yourself, and it's not. It's really just your mind. And you need to take a more objective stance when you're listening to your inner voice, and you need to start observing your inner voice instead of listening to every part of what it's saying, because often what I hear people say is that I have to find myself. I have to find my inner voice. I have to learn to trust my inner voice. And this is not true. This couldn't be further from the truth. What you have to realize is that your inner voice is no one. Your inner voice is your mind. It's your brain. It's your mental voice. Okay? Now, the reason number 2 that you need to stop listening to your inner voice is because your inner voice is literally that neurotic roommate that does not shut up and likes to start shit, okay? Your neurotic roommate, for example, that likes to take a shit and then leave the door open and then wonder why it starts to smell up the house. Or your neurotic roommate that likes to make a meal and then leave the dishes everywhere and then say, oh, the house is dirty, That's literally what your inner voice is. It's that neurotic roommate that's annoying, that's provoking, that's negative, that's a shit starter, that just likes to cause chaos. That's what your inner voice does. It causes commotions, and it literally enjoys making life difficult for you. Okay? That is what your inner voice is, and that's why you need to stop listening to your inner voice. So that's the second reason. Now let's move on to the third reason. Your inner voice is not your conscience, okay? Your inner voice has no conscience, so therefore it can be overtly critical. Now, many people mistake their inner voice for their conscience. Now, your conscience is a moral guide. Your conscience weighs good and bad. It weighs which one is, the one that you should be doing, which one is the one that is better to do. That is your conscience. It is the moral guide. Your inner voice is not trustworthy. Your inner voice is degrading, it's punishing, and actually leads you to making unhealthy decisions. Okay, your inner voice can increase feelings of self-hatred, and actually, instead of motivating you, which is what your conscience does, your inner voice will cause you to do and create undesirable qualities. Your inner voice will actually create destruction. Okay, so your conscience creates constructive, desirable qualities and traits. Okay, your inner voice is the opposite. Okay, it will punish you, and it will make you develop more distrust, more lack of trust with yourself. Okay, so there's reason number 3 that you need to stop listening to your inner voice. Reason number 4, your inner voice will literally cause self-sabotage. Okay, think imposter syndrome, think fear of success, think fear of failure. Okay, your inner voice is the reason behind the imposter syndrome, the reason behind your fear of success, your fear of failure. Your inner voice is the reason behind your inability to move forward because of that negative self-talk. You know, you're wondering why people will judge you, why you are an expert. You know, a lot of us are in the online entrepreneurial space. Why people should trust you, why you are all of a sudden an expert, why you should ask for money for your services. You know, your inner voice will literally ruin your life because you'll start second guessing and questioning yourself. You'll start all of that negative self-talk. You'll start comparing yourself to others. That's what your inner voice does. It finds problems instead of solutions within yourself. Okay? That's another reason why you need to stop listening to your inner voice. Your inner voice also, here's another fourth number reason. I think it's the fourth reason. Oh, I think so. I don't know if it's the fourth or the fifth. I lost track of the numbers. But your inner voice comes from a primitive place. Now think about this. For millions of years, we were hunter-gatherers. For millions of years, we had to make sure that we weren't being attacked by other tribes, by other just neighboring people that were fighting for survival. You know, your inner voice comes from a primitive mind that was constantly in survival mode. Now, when you're constantly in survival mode, especially in the energetic realm, you're operating from your lower chakra points. You're operating from a lower frequency. You're operating from a lower vibration. Okay, and when you're operating from a lower vibration, you're not operating from your highest and truest self. Okay, you're not operating from a place where you will ascend. You're operating from a place where you will stay stuck. Okay, you're not operating from a place where you will thrive. You're operating from a place where you are just going to survive. Because once again, the primitive mind is meant to protect you. The primitive mind is meant to keep you from danger, okay? And it's going to once again move you away from your highest and truest self, all right? So there's another reason why you need to stop listening to your inner voice. I hope I gave you 5, but I feel like I only gave you 4. I want to make sure I give you at least 5 reasons why you need to stop listening to your inner voice. So another reason that you need to stop listening to your inner voice is because it's conditioned by society. It's conditioned by the things that you've been around, whether it be your childhood upbringing, you know, by your parents, by your siblings, by your friends, by what people deem normal, by what society deems normal. You know, for example, I'm 30, so I am not married. I do have children, but I'm not married, so I have not been married. What's wrong with me? That's another societal conditioning, you know, or you're not making 6 figures in your business yet. What's wrong with your business? Why are you stuck in your business? You know, there's another social construct that we have to start moving away from. Or another social construct, you're not a size 6. Or why you must be unhealthy and unattractive. You know, one of those social constructs. And we have to move away from all of these conditionings. We have to move away from what society has caused us to what makes our inner voice think what is normal. You know, what is normal anyway? You know, normal is subjective, but our inner voice has already cultivated a parameter for normal, and it often follows those parameters and causes chaos in our minds. And by that chaos being caused in our minds, it comes out in our inner voice, and we start listening to that inner voice telling us that there's something wrong with us, instead of observing where those thoughts, where that conditioning, where those trauma responses, where that triggering is coming from. So you have to start understanding the conditioning, the society, how society has influenced your inner voice, so you can start observing what your inner voice is saying. And you have to learn how to compartmentalize what your inner voice is saying and how that affects who you are as a spiritual being, as a being that has more to offer than what the inner voice ever will be able to offer. So in the AAA Supercharged Empath program that I am launching on the 10th of October, and once again, I follow my numbers, I follow my angelic numbers. With the AAA Supercharged Empath program, what I show my clients is how to follow intuitive guidance by being heart aligned. Okay, now the heart is literally the intersection between your primal and between your higher and truer self. And once you get into your heart chakra, once you get heart aligned, you start to accept intuitive guidance, you start to activate your empath gifts, and you also start to be in more flow, more balance, more inner peace. Okay, you start to ascend, you start to get into a higher frequency where you can truly trust yourself, trust your intuitive guidance, and trust your ability to activate your empath gift so you can start cultivating the new earth and live a more purposeful life. And this is very important because often when you start listening to that inner voice, you start questioning your intuitive guidance. You start questioning yourself, you start saying, am I being ridiculous? Am I being too harsh? Am I being too mean? Am I being like my parents? When you start getting those intuitive hits, and, a lot of times your intuitive hits will warn you about certain things or people, and you're like, oh my gosh, hold on. Is this conditioning? Is this trauma? Is this trigger? And it's like, okay, well then you stop listening to your intuition, and then you wish you had, and you wish that you had the energy for yourself that you poured into a certain person or certain situation, because that energy for yourself could have been used for the things you want it for the creativity that you want it for, especially as an empath, because we are often very creative, right? We often have a lot that we want to do, and we have a lot that we want to become, and we have a lot that we want to be. We have a lot in our heads that we're just so imaginative. We're just creators. A lot of the energy that we waste on people and things that our intuitive guidance was trying to warn us about could have been used for ourselves. So in the AAA Supercharged Empath program, I show my clients, I show my clients how to stop being limited to the constraints of the 3D world. This is 3D. This is the time-space reality of the 3D world. When you become spiritually aligned, when you start to activate your empath gifts, you start to realize that you're not limited to the 3D. You're not limited to the time-space reality of this realm. You are unlimited. You can get into the 5D and beyond with understanding your spiritual gifts and truly activating those spiritual gifts. And when you activate those spiritual gifts, you start to fulfill your purpose. You start to even have a better understanding of what your soul's purpose is with your empath gifts, so you can fulfill your soul's mission here on earth. And I show my clients how to do that by learning how to walk in a frequency of faith over a frequency of fear. And you have to learn how to silence that inner voice so you can stop operating in your primitive lower chakra points and truly start living and activating those higher chakra points, so you can start activating your empath gifts and live in a more purposeful and aligned life. So the AAA Supercharged Empath program is launching on the 10th of October. I'm including the link in the comments for you to apply for the waitlist. The waitlist is open now, and then I will be launching the actual program on the 10th of October. And so I highly encourage you to get on the wait list now so we can start just understanding where exactly you will be with this program and how I can serve you. And then after that, we will be starting the program in November. So I'm just really excited about this program. I love this program. I have a lady who I just love working with right now in the program, and she's just starting to just blossom. I just love her. I love watching her grow. I love watching my clients grow. I love watching them truly start activating their gifts and just being in more aligned soul purpose. So thank you so much for watching this live. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM me, shoot me a DM, or once again, apply to the program with the link in the comments, and I can reach out to you from that way as well. So thank you so much for watching this live. This is Reiki Master Radiance Thompson. This is Reiki with Radiance. I am a spiritual coach for empaths and highly sensitive women with an X, women with an X to include non-binary women as well. I show women how to become aligned in their soul's purpose with their empath gifts so they can cultivate the new earth and live and activate their empath gifts so they can fulfill their soul's mission. Thank you for watching this live. I'll be seeing you guys soon.